Hagadol, interesting pasuk. Zichru Torah Moshe Avdi. Remember the Torah of Moshe Avdi. Asher Tzivisi also. I'm not sure what the next word is. I think we're going to learn about the next word in the end of the piece. Okay. So the Medrash says on this pasuk, Omar Moshe Rabbeinu says, Shem etikwa Torah Shem acher. I mean, in his anivus, he didn't want the Torah to be referred to as Torah Moshe, right? I mean, who am I to have the Torah named after me? Call it Torah Avram, Torah Michael, Torah Stephen. Why Torah Moshe? Oh my gosh, Baruch Hashem says, "Ein a Torah nikras ela al shemecha." No. The Torah is only going to be called through your name. Shenema zichru Torah Moshe. Fetek Sav Sofer Tzarich Bir Ma Oila Adas Moshe Shatorah Nikras L'Shem Acher. What was Moshe Rabbeinu's issue? Why didn't he want the Torah to be called through his name? That he said, let it be called by somebody else. Okay, so we said it was because of his anivus. Okay, but then you wouldn't need 3 pages for that. We just say anivus and go on. Some people would be happy. Okay, Rabbi, nice dvar, let's move on. But you won't be so lucky tonight. We're going to say a little bit of a longer explanation. Not too long, I hope. But another shot and why Moshe wanted it to be called Torah Shmuel, Torah Frank. Why not Torah Moshe? Medrash says in Shir HaShirim on the pasuk, "Ani yeshena v'li bi'er." I am sleeping, but my heart is awake. What does that mean? Amu Yisrael says, the Jewish people say, "Ani yeshena min mitzvos." I am sleeping from mitzvos, begalus. I mean, we're in galus, we're in exile. How many mitzvahs can you do already outside of Eretz Yisrael? Belibi er le mitzvos, but my heart is awake for mitzvos. What does that mean? Says the Ksav Sofer. There are a lot of mitzvos from the Torah that are dependent on the land of Israel, and we can't keep them in galus. So we are missing a major part of the Torah by not being able to fulfill these mitzvos. But we are mishtaikikim. We really want to do this mitzvahs. We are, I can't think of a good word for it. We're really excited about the fact that at some point we will be able to do the mitzvahs. We desire to do the mitzvahs. You know, I mean, the mitzvahs that we can do, we do. But the mitzvahs that we can't do, we still have a desire. We want to fulfill them. And at some point, we will go back to Eretz Yisrael and we'll be able to fulfill those mitzvahs. Right? In the last year, we mentioned the Gemara. Last year? Or the year before? Last year. If a person wants to do a mitzvah and he can't because of an honest accident, it's considered as if he did the mitzvah. So, God pays the reward for the good thoughts that you had, that you wanted to do the mitzvah. That's what the Medrash means when it says, "Ani yishenu min a mitzvahs begalus." We're sleeping from mitzvahs because there are a lot of mitzvahs that we can't do. We're like a sleeping person. When you're sleeping, you can't do mitzvahs, right? You can do other mitzvahs, but we can't do all the mitzvahs. So the mitzvahs that we can't do, we're considered sleeping. Avali bi'er, but my heart is awake. Meaning my heart, my desire. I want to do the mitzvahs. I want to do all of them, not just the ones that I could do in Miami Beach. I want to fulfill all the mitzvahs, even the ones that you can't fulfill here. But it's considered B'nai Hashem as if you did them, if you really have a desire to do them. Now, where was the Torah given? Torah was given by Midbar, in the wilderness, in the middle of nowhere. Why? To teach us this lesson. In the wilderness, when you're in the middle of nowhere, you can't fulfill all the mitzvahs. You're in a midbar. But the Torah was given in the midbar, even though it's impossible to fulfill all the mitzvahs. Why? To teach us this lesson. That if a person is mekabel, accepts upon his heart, that he wants to do the mitzvahs, and he will fulfill them when he's able to, and he yearns for the fact that Mr. Mikdash should come speedily in our days, and we're all going to go back to Eretz Yisrael, and then we will fulfill all those mitzvos. That's the lesson of the Torah being given in the midbar. To show you the Torah can be given even in the midbar, even in the wilderness, when you can't fulfill all the mitzvos. As long as you have a desire and a yearning to do all the mitzvos, it's considered as if you did all of them. That could be the explanation of the pasuk. Zichru Toras Moshe. Moshe was the last of the Nevi'im, and Moshe Rabbeinu is telling us that we should fulfill the Torah always, even when we're in Golus, and we can't fulfill all the mitzvahs, but poil, in actuality, that's why it says Zichru Toras Moshe. We remember the Toras Moshe, that there's a Toreles, there's a purpose, and it's considered in front of Hashem, even b'zikaron, even just the remembrance, just the mention of the mitzvah itself, even if you can't do it b'poil, but the mentioning of it. Maybe he means the mentioning of it, the learning the halachos of the mitzvah. Continuation of last year. That if you learn the halachos of a mitzvah, it's as if you did the mitzvah, to a certain extent. Why? The last pasuk, the last word in that pasuk. Zichru Toras Moshe Avdi Asher Tzivisu also b'chorev, in the wilderness. Again, the Torah was given in the wilderness, even though it cannot be fulfilled all the mitzvahs in the wilderness, to show us this lesson that it's considered as if you did all of them if you have the yearning to fulfill all of them. Now, Moshe Rabbeinu is the one that's name is associated with the Torah, because through him we were makabel the Torah. He was Moshe Nefesh. He gave over his soul for the Torah, and he taught us the Torah. The Medrash says a mitzvah is only associated by the person that fulfills the mitzvah and ends the mitzvah. Hashem Gomra, by the one that ends it. If you start off a mitzvah, you don't finish it, you don't get credit for it. The one that ends the mitzvah is the one that gets credit for it. So Moshe Rabbeinu was afraid, you know what, he's going to die. Joshua is going to be the one that took us into Eretz Yisrael. So maybe it should be called Zichru Toras Yeshua. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu didn't want his name associated with it. It wasn't false Hanivus, or even true Hanivus. What it was this idea. He knew this Gemara, that the mitzvah should be associated by the one that actually ends the mitzvah. So he wanted Yeshua to have his name. What?
You can't end it unless you start it, though.
Yeah, that's true.
That's important as ending it.
That's true. But if a person starts off a mitzvah, another person ends it, the person that ends the mitzvah gets credit for it. Now, you're right. You need the person to start.
Credit, though.
Yeah, you're right. You need the person to start the mitzvah. There's no beginning, there's no ending. But the Gemara says clearly that the mitzvah is attributed to the one that ends it. So Moshe thought that Yeshua should be the one that's name should be associated and linked with the Torah, because he's the one that took us into Eretz Yisrael. And only when we're in Eretz Yisrael can we fulfill all the mitzvos. So it says Moshe, my name shouldn't be associated with the Torah. Yeshua's name should be associated with the Torah, because only through Yeshua taking us into Eretz Yisrael were we able to fulfill all the mitzvos. And therefore, he would be the one that was the one that goimba, the one that ended the mitzvah, because only through his taking us into Israel were we able to fulfill all the Torah, and therefore he should get the credit, because he's the one that enabled us to end the mitzvah, meaning to be able to fulfill all the Torah.
Let's say they reference that.
Hashem said, no. The Torah is going to be called through your name. Why? Because only through Moshe do we learn this lesson, that the Torah goes by the person who was Moshe Nefesh for the Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu was the one that taught us the Torah. Yes, Yeshua is the one that brought us into Eretz Yisrael when we are able to fulfill all the mitzvahs. But you know what? It's very nice to have the ability to fulfill all the mitzvahs when you're in Eretz Yisrael. But Hashem taught us, no, we're going to call it Toras Moshe, because Moshe is the one that taught us this idea that when you can't keep the mitzvahs bepoil, in actuality, if you have a yearning and a desire to fulfill the mitzvahs, it's also considered as if you did the mitzvahs. So if it would say Zichur Toras Yehoshua Avdi, we wouldn't know this idea that we have the option of learning the halachos of a mitzvah, and it's considered as if you did the mitzvah. That the Torah considers the yearning also as being able to be considered as if did the mitzvah. That's why Hashem said, no, you're right. Yeshua does have the great level over you have. That by Yeshua taking us into Eretz Yisrael, we were able to do more mitzvahs. But no. We want to teach us this idea that if you have the right machshavas and you have the right ratzon, the right desire, and the right thoughts, then even you can be considered as if you did all the Torah, even though you can't keep it b'poil. If you have the right thoughts, it's considered as if you did the entire Torah. And that's why it's done through Moshe, because Moshe taught us this lesson.